Today I'm going to show you an interesting way to use large language models to create and develop Godot projects. I'm just going to create an empty project here. Before we do anything, I'm just going to create a 3D scene and then just save this project. Now what that's done is it's created this no3d.tscn file, and I'm going to switch over to VS Code here. So I have this extension called CLine or Klein, or however you pronounce it. And you can interface with, you can use large language models to edit files. So I'm just going to get into my new project directory here. And we have all these files for our Godot project. The one we're interested in, though, is the Node3D. And that's where we're going to be able to manipulate the project and add some custom stuff using the large language model. So I'm going to go to my client tab here and create a new chat, and I'm going to add that file to my context. And then I'm going to prompt it with what I want my project to do. And I'm going to use the Windows text-to-speech to do this. Add to this Godot scene file so that we have the following game. The player is a yellow cube on a white plane, and it can be controlled with the arrow keys by the player. And the camera is looking down on the cube, not directly, but sort of to the side. And the cube can move around and collect coins. And when it collides with the coin, then the coin disappears. And once all of the coins are collected, the cube turns a different color. Create any new scripts that are necessary to make this happen. Now I'm going to send in the prompt, and we'll see what happens. I'll note that the large language model I'm using for this is Claude Sonnet, of course, because it's amazing. So you can see how it's building out this scene structure here, and this is just a text representation of the node tree. So we'll see if it does it on the first try, but it had some pretty impressive results. So okay, it's created out the node tree. I'm gonna hit save. Looks like it's re-editing the file, adding a few things it might need. It's now creating the player script for moving around. I'm gonna hit save. It's making the coin script. Alright, it says it's created, or it's completed the task. Let's see what has updated in Godot. So we have this, and it says, oh, this scene file has updated, so we're gonna discard any local changes in our project and just reload the ones that, the changes that were made by VS Code. And once we do that, we have this scene. I've never seen this before. This is completely generated by Claude, and we'll see what happens when I play the game. Okay, it looks like we don't have any light in the scene. Let's see if we can prompt it to add those lights. Let's go back to VS Code. Add some lights to the scene. I'm gonna hit save. Go back and reload our changes, and I'm going to play the game again. Whoa, okay, I can move around. I'm going to go collect that coin that's been collected, collect that one, and this one. Have a different color. I've completed the level. So this is pretty groundbreaking. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this with large language models in Godot before. But you can see the possibilities here are just endless. So let's do one more little thing that really demonstrates how AI is going to play into the future of game development. So I'm going to close out on this and go to my browser. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, using the DALL-E diffusion model, to create some game assets. So maybe I want some different trees around my scene. So this is what I'm going to do. Generate an image of a 3D asset of a tree for a video game against a white background. This is a pretty good tree, but we can see it's clipped off right here, so we're just going to ask it to generate another one. Okay, this one looks pretty good. I'm going to drag this into Trellis. Alright. Alright, now hit generate. Okay, here is the resulting 3D model, and it's way too high poly for an actual video game, but it's a great start, and there might be some AI powered retopology tools in the future that can really bring the poly count down. So for now, we're just going to create a GLB for this. Great, so it looks like it's generated our 3D model here, and I can kind of zoom around and look at it. Like I said, pretty high poly, way too much for what we need. But what's great is that about this workflow is that you can iterate really quickly with the 2D images and say, oh, I want one with fall leaves, or I want one with a thicker trunk, or whatever. And then you can bring it in here, and then it'll generate the final result. Okay, so now I've downloaded the tree, and I'm going to just drag and drop it into VS Code. So we got our tree.glb, drag it over to VS Code, into the file system, and right here. So I'm going to ask it to use the tree.glb in our Godot scene. So I'm going to put in the prompt now, and I'm going to say, use the tree.glb file as an asset in the scene. Have the trees be randomly scattered across the plane, and have them be about 2 times the height of the cube. Okay, now I will submit the prompt. Going to save the file. Alright, now let's go over to Godot and see what happened. It's importing the assets, discard local changes, and here we are. We have trees in our scene. Now they're not positioned quite right, but they are randomly scattered, and this was all done by the large language model. So now's a great time to demonstrate something amazing about this workflow, which is that you can still use the editor. The large language model will be aware of these changes as long as you tell it to recognize that the file, the TSCN file, has been updated. Let's try playing the game. Alright, we have our completely AI generated assets in our scene, and let's go collect our coins. And alright, we won. I think this is a pretty good summary of what I've been working on here, and this was the first recording. This is the first try, so there was no cherry picking here. This is all on the fly. So I hope you enjoyed.